Hello everybody, I am going to take the lecture on forest mensuration. This forest mensuration is a very important and a very technical subject for forestry. Well, in forest mensuration, it is like a measurement. We will be measuring the entire things which is related to forestry, and as mensuration is concerned with the measurement and a part of mathematics to determine the length, area and the volume. So when we go to the ancient times in history, actually that time there was an enormous forest. We were having no dearth, and measurement was not very important in 18th century. But later on, as the depletions started, as the population has grown and as the demand has increased slowly, we felt that now it is very important to conserve the forest. And earlier times in mid of 18th century, mensuration started just like mapping, making the map of that entire forest area. As we see when we say this mana means here is a measuring the capacity of the volume. And when we say Anjali is two hands, like two hands is just like a measuring of the capacity. And in the ancient time we also call it hath. One hath, two hath means hand. So that type of measurement or that type of unit was been taken. But later on in 19th century, as we came to know, because we have to conserve the forest, the resource was not too much, and now we came to some measuring the height of a tree, then making the volume of a tree, and then we try to measure the entire forest. And slowly as we became more precise, more accurate in forestry. So when we see the definition of this forestry, we also call it a Latin word called mensura. Mensura here means to measure. Mensura here means to measure. It is a Latin word. Now in forest mensuration, we see it is a branch of forestry which deals with the, what you say, dimension. Now what dimension of what? Dimension of diameter, dimension of height, dimension of volume, a form means is like a taperness, then age, increment of a single tree or a stand or entire forest. Okay, now we say that it is important now in this 20th century. Now we came to more technology has developed. Now we know how to measure the forest, how to measure the entire tree, its volume in accurate form, because now it is very important. Now forest is very important in sense of carbon sequestration. To calculate the carbon also, it is became very important. So your mensuration concerns with the linear, for the area, volume, weight. Now there's like a Krishak attached. We need to make it a weight basis. So now as I want to go want to give a short in this introduction about the forest mensuration, let's come to the what we measure. Here for example, we measure the diameter. Now diameter is very important to measuring the diameter. If you see where we measure the diameter, see there is some a standard height where we measure the diameter, as the standard height is like 1.37. At 1.37 we measure the diameter at breast. We call it DBH. It means diameter at breast height. Okay, now not only diameter we measure, we have to measure a lot of things. Now this is a linear measurement. We have to come to the volume also, height also. Then we also measure the height of a tree at what? At different level. Now what do you mean by different level? Now we see this is the entire bowl. You see this is the entire bowl, which is very important, because this is a merchant table. This is a merchant table ball. Merchant table, when we can go for commercial, we can go for sale of this one. And this is, when we see this upper one, this is a pulp wood. We can make pulp of this one. So all the three parts has been used. And if you see, this is the bowl height from here. This is the lower branch. This is the, what you say, crown. So we have to measure not only the DBH, we have to measure the height at different level. Now when we see the volume, with the dia, with the height and with the form factor, we will come to the volume. Now what is volume is very important, because volume will ultimately go for commercial, go for sale. And this is our fruit. When we talk of forestry, in forestry what is our fruit? Our fruit is wood. See, we can have different length. Now our concentration will come to how much length of the wood will be a your volume. Now you see, we can convert this. If this is a good tree, we can convert it to 16 foot, then we can again go for 16 foot, again 8 foot, and so and so and so. Now up to where we can make the volume, so it may be measured in cubic meter. Okay, so you also call it CFT. So what is CFT? You can see either it is 12 into 6 into 2, or we go for 12 into 12 into 1 CFT. So how much CFT your tree will give to you? Each tree calculation. With each tree calculation, we will also calculate the entire stand or entire forest of that one. So we will know that how much you will have the volume of a tree. So we need to measure the dia, we need to measure the height, we need to measure the volume of a tree. Now let's come to this. This is volume of standing tree. How to measure will come in the coming lectures. How to measure the volume of a standing tree. Then how to measure the volume of this felled tree. So our interest here, the forest department should know, and all the foresters or those who are researchers, they should know what is the volume here of a felled tree, and it is more easier than the standing one. So this is also we'll be learning in this coming lectures in forest mensuration. Then next is measuring the, what you say, form factor. Now what do you mean by form factor here? Form factor here means shape. Form means here shape. Now why shape is important? Because if you see the shape here, you see the shape here, it is a bit like cylindrical. You see the shape here, it is just like a paraboloid here. If you see the shape, it is very cone or coniloid shape. Here it is very crooked shape. So if we have a shape like cylindrical, it will give more volume. But if we have a shape like this coniloid, then your volume will be bit less. You see the wood is bit less here. So how much volume of your length of the log you can get it? It depends on one. It depends on the shape of the tree. So this shape of the tree is very important. Height, dia, shape of the tree called form factor. Now we'll come to form factor. So this will let us to know how much volume we will get from that tree. Now if you see this what is form factor, this in detail I will come in the coming lectures, how we will calculate the form factor. Now if you see, this is you can see the shape of this tree on the top. If you see in the top, it will become coniloid. If a full tree can also be a shape of a cone one like this, coniloid we call it. So form factor is 2 to 3. So it is bit less. As we go to conoid, you can see this conoid shape, then the form factor is 3 to 4.5. Then if you see this quadrate paraboloid, see you can see it is a quadrate paraboloid here. Okay, this shape will be 0.45 to 0.55. Then if you see cubic paraboloid, then this shape will increase the form factor 0.55 to 0.6.5. And when it is more than 0.90 up to 1, it is cylindrical. Okay. Now cylindrical will give more volume. So we should know, a forester should know the shape. This shape will give us the volume. That is, we will learn in the coming lectures about this one. Next is we'll also learn about basal area. Now what is basal area? This is very important because our basal area will give our calculation to calculate the volume of a full stand of a full forest. Now this basal area is like this, you can see the circle here. This is the area. This area is calculated by pi into dBH in diameter. This is dBH. dBH means height at breast height. That is at 1.37 meter. This is a standard one. At 1.37, what is the area here? It is called basal area. If you see this basal area at cross section here, it has been calculated by pi into dBH square divided by 4. Then we have to calculate the each tree, how many number of trees per hectare is there and how much basal area is there. We have to calculate the basal area per hectare. Then we can make it by sampling. Then we can calculate the entire stand, how much basal area is there. So basal area is defined as the cross section of the area of a tree at the breast height. So where is the breast height? At 1.37. So this is the most important measurement what we have to do to understand the entire mensuration of this one. Now we'll go, if I want to go more further, this basal area will go in the entire detailed lecture, but I would like to tell, for example, this is the forest from the top view. You can see this is this marking of different area is a stand. different stand. This may be of different species here, different species here, or age here. If you see this forest here, it is age. This is the age. It is bit exploitable diameter age. Now you can harvest here. So a lot of trees will be here. Lot of trees. This lot of trees will be here. Now these trees at 1.37, or how much basal area is here? We have to calculate basal area, how many number of trees are here, and what is the basal area here. We call it stand basal area. When you take a single tree, it is a basal area. When you take the number of trees in a particular stand, is called stand basal area. And what is stand? Stand is a forest which are distinguished with each other, either in species, either in age. So in this stand, how many trees are there and what is their basal area? If you know the basal area, if you know the form factor, and if you know the height, average height, we can calculate the entire volume here. This is the wonderful calculations. And if you know the entire volume, we can calculate the what is the carbon here. So that will come in the coming lectures. And mensuration also deal with the, what you see, age of a tree. Now age of a tree, how you do? You can count these rings by counting these rings, or by increment borer. There's one increment borer here. We'll take out one this core from here with the increment borer, and then we can count the number of years here, and we'll know how many number of years are there. What is the, if you see the small rings here, then we'll come to know about the what is the in stump analysis. We will be doing this in the stump analysis. This is called stump analysis. If you have a very close rings, we know that this years there was very less rainfall. If we have a rings a bit broader one, we'll come to know, we can understand the entire history here by stump analysis, and this is also we will be doing in the coming lectures. Now what we do more in mensuration, not only stump analysis, there is called stem analysis also. Stem analysis and is very different with stump. This is called stem analysis. This is done in the entire tree. Entire tree you have at different height, at different diameter. We'll be cutting this in the sections, and then we'll learn about its rings. These rings will let us understand about the age diameter relationship. Will help us to understand about the age height relationship. Will also help us about age volume relationship, and throughout the entire life. So this will help us to manage, this will help us to do more research, this will help us to understand how to go for better treatment and which tree species are better for getting more yield. So stem analysis will be going to learn in this forest mensuration. Now we'll come to wood density. This is very important, because wood density will help us to understand about the carbon content. Density means how much pore space is there and how much wood is there. This we will be doing by, this is, you can see this is a weighing balance, and there's a wood sample which we are putting in the water and displaced by water displacement method. We'll understand how much wood density is there. Wood density may be 0.5, 0.6, 0.70, 0.8, 0.9 up to 1. So more is the wood density, more strong it is, more durable it is. So we'll like poplars have the wood density like ranging from 0.30 to 0.35, like eucalyptus have 0.39 to 0.4, and teak has more wood density. So we'll understand about the density, more carbon content, more wood is there, more cellulose is there. So this is will going in the coming lectures. Then we'll also learn about this crown. Crown is important. See, crown is a factory which used to have photosynthesis and give all the resources in the bowl, and it helps the trees to grow. And how much biomass is there? So we will also learn about the measurement. See, we can, this is a diameter A plus B. So what is A? How much diameter of the crown will be measured at the ground level here? Okay, this one. So A plus B divided by 2, we'll understand about the area of the crown. Okay, in volume also we can calculate of this one. Then we'll also in forest mensuration go for tree data like sampling method. That is very important. Now the sampling method is in 2000 years. This sampling is very important because it will let us know everything for forecasting the things. So sampling methods we'll be doing by sampling by 30 by 30 meter or whatever will come in the time. Now what is the concept? Concept is by sawn wood, round wood, bamboos, NTPS, bark, root, everything is important to measure. Everything we should know about it nowadays, because we have to go for production, we have to go for fulfilling the demand, and we have to come up to that supply also for that one. So ultimately, forest mensuration can be described as knowing about the age, diameter over bark, length, height, shape, then taperness, then crown width, wood density, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So this is what we will go in the forest mensuration. And let's go about the scope. Now when we talk of scope, then it is for foresters, it is for researchers, it is for contractors, it is for sawmillers, it is for students, it is for the growing population, how to fulfill them. So it is for the management of wildlife, for insect and pest. This is very important. Ultimately, we need for the application of statistical theory and the use of forecasting the yield. So objective of forest mensuration is 4. Now we'll go to basis of sale. We go for this objective. Next is for management, then for research and for planning. So first one is object for sale. Now why you need forest management? Early times there were a lot of trees, you can just give it. Okay, this much stack is there, you pay this much, but nowadays there is scarcity. So what we need to sell it. Now how we need to sell it? We should know the measurement. Okay, by knowing the measurement, like increasing the value of timber, so it is that how much money we are getting without any much loss. Some accuracy, we should know about some accuracy. So in the forest department or wherever there is a stack of wood is here, so by some of the accuracy we can sell this one, and for forest management help us for the basis of sale, that how much either we are not in loss or we are getting more money, more, so we are not, will not get, but we should not be in a loss. So at least some measurement we should know. So first objective is for the sale. Then next is for our management, like foresters and forest department, we should have the knowledge of quality. What is the quality of standing timber? That is very important. Like teak is a quality timber. What is the increment coming, and how much harvesting without depleting the soil, without depleting, because we don't have much of the forest area now. With that minimal forest area, we have to go for production. We have to go for fulfilling the demand. So that is very important. Management should be there. Otherwise, we will not get that quality timber. Then for that one, we will learn in coming lectures yield table. For that one, yield table we have to make. This is one of the example by M.R.K. Jairam about the yield table. So yield table, what is yield table? Now it is in the introduction. I'll come in detail. What is yield table? We'll understand how to prepare yield table. Yield table is the ultimate for the management of the forest. Now this is, for example, age. From 30 years it went to 40 years. For example, it came to 50 years. Site quality is 1. What do you mean site quality? Site quality 1 is good quality, 2 is bit bad, 3 is bit worse. So there are different yield table for different sites. And you can see this age. In 30 years the height was 31 and this diameter was 0.3 and number of trees or stem were more, 1550. But as the age became up to 50, your height increased to 56, your diameter go to 6.3, and your number of, you see, trees or number of stems has decreased. Because why? Some have gone through thinning, we have removed it, some has done naturally, and remaining had got lot of space, they become more fat, more thick. So this way basal area will also increase, isn't it? And form factor will also increase. So we'll get more cylindrical bole, ultimate will get more yield. That is called current annual increment and mean annual increment. These two things I'll be coming on the next lecture in detail. This is just introduction that in forest mensuration, what we have to learn. So yield table is ultimate, the important one for us for the management. So proper management, we can meet the demand. So this is being properly be managed, and we should know in continuity how much we have to harvest and how much we have to grow and what time it takes for the maturity. So that management is very important. And also for management for research. Now next is management for research. Research is ultimately our goal, because in the future research will also only pay us to maintain the forest in sustainable way. So in order to find out which treatment is the best, which method is the best, which will maximize the production, where our production will be more. So for more production, what we have to do? We have to go for the research. Okay, and for the research we have to go for not only research will serve for production, it will go for sale. Ultimate we have to go for a very layout of the experiment for this one. I'll be teaching you in the coming lecture about the sample plots and how the periodic measurement we will be taking out. So taking that measurement in the research will help us to go for the best treatment, for the best production. Okay, then measurement for planning. Now what do we mean by planning here? Planning is for lay out the experiment to fulfill the gap of supply and demand. Plan for that gap, how to make that gap less. So we will make this, this is a plot by 30 meter into 30 meter. This is a plot. In this plot we will be studying about the nature of the tree species, how it grows. It goes very fast growing, it is already slow growing, what type of growth behavior it has. So we'll understand to fulfill the demand with fast growing tree species, and slow growing tree species may have a very high specific gravity for a long run, for a good timber. So that planning we have to make it. For that one we need accurate estimate of future yield. Then only we can make planning, and we need this statistical plan for that one. Okay, for this statistical plan we need to plan it very nicely and make some sample plots. So this is called demand and supply. See, demand and supply is important. Planning requires to reduce the gap. Now the ultimate our goal is to reduce. What to reduce? The demand, the gap of demand and supply. So this, if you see this graph, this is the historical behavior of that particular one, and by this one we'll come to know about this in future, how we can increase the supply so that we can decrease the demand, and that gap will come down, and we are the proper manager to do this one. That's why forest mensuration is very, very important for us in this coming time, to not only to save forest, to fulfill the demand also. So this is what for today's lecture, and then I'll be coming in the coming lecture continuing this one. I hope you like this lecture, and in the same second lecture I'll be coming with the how to measure in a different way. Thank you very much. Thank you.